Still getting set up here, folks, just a little bit. Be patient. Found it. Hi, George. I'm glad you're here. Or maybe it's Elena, looking like you're George. Sometimes spouses do that. Well, if it's George or Elena, I am so glad you're here. Thank you for jumping on. And welcome, everybody. Hold on. My note. I don't want to get lost in my little talk here. If I don't have my notes, bam, we're good. Awesome. Hello, everybody. It is me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. It is Sunday, June 23rd, 2019, and it is glorious to have you sharing Sunday Night Live with me. Sylvia, I'm glad you're here. Shay, thank you for jumping on. And yeah, Sylvia's here live. That's awesome. Usually you have to catch it on the recording, so it's really good to see you here. I am thrilled to be able to help you thrive and change. It's what I'm all about. And tonight we're going to be talking about comparison, and we'll take a little bit of a deep dive into that. Maybe you haven't thought about it in some of the ways that we're going to explore tonight. But I'm looking forward to sharing with you some wisdom that I've gleaned over time. Comfort, glad you jumped on. Thank you for being here. Yes. So while we're waiting for a few more people to see the Facebook live thing. Oh, I love that smile, Shay. Thank you. And Nikki. Nikki, I'm glad you're here, and say hi to Skylar. Win. Yes. Thank you for jumping on. This is going to be a great night. I am so glad you're here joining me. It's awesome. Like I said, we're going to be talking about comparison. But before we jump into that, I want to let you know that there are only 3 spots left for our Self-Leadership Mastermind, which starts on July 6th. It's at Saturday mornings, 3 weeks in a row in July, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It is going to be taped, so whoever is participating will be able to go back and reference it. You can either listen to it or you'll be able to watch it. So that'll be cool. So even if you know you're going to have to miss it, be on vacation, it's quite all right. The good news is it doesn't matter if you're in the Bahamas or if you're in South Carolina or if you're in Romeo, Michigan, which is right around the corner. You'll be able to participate because it's going to be a virtual mastermind that I'm doing right here on Facebook Live. So I'm super excited about it. I had 10 slots available. I only have 3 slots left. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to work with a coach. I would love to be able to do a mastermind and grow. I've got good news for you. This is a great time to try it because it is $25. It's $25 for 3 group coaching, facilitated discussions. We are going to learn how to lead ourselves, and I am so excited to do it. So if you want to be a part of it, just drop me a note in Facebook. Just let me know I'm in, and I'll send you all the info. You can also go to my webpage, shannonlabruyere.com, or you can just drop me a Facebook Messenger. I don't care how you tell me. Just let me know you're interested. I'll send you the information. So that's exciting. All right, so let's get started on tonight's topic. We're talking about comparison, and I am crazy about that quote that I shared with you guys when I announced what tonight's topic was. I don't know how many of you have done any research about Teddy Roosevelt, but he's one of our American presidents. I'm sure you knew that. He is a really, really cool guy, and he lived life his own way, for sure, 100%. Teddy Roosevelt was not easily swayed by public opinion or peer pressure. And I love this quote: comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. Teddy Roosevelt is the only president that I know of that went skinny dipping in the Potomac River. Teddy Roosevelt marched to his own drummer, and he accomplished a lot. Became president. He was an author. He did all kinds of amazing things, certainly bold things, and he says comparison is the thief of joy. Gina, I am glad you jumped on. Thanks for being here. So comparison is the thief of joy. When I was growing up, some of you know the story, and I'll touch on it from time to time with a little more detail, But you can probably imagine what this is like. I had a mother when I was growing up. My mother suffered from depression, and my dad at the time was an alcoholic. So I had a mom who had no energy and wanted to sleep all the time and was on medication. And I had a dad who wasn't present in a healthy way in our family at the time. And I am very grateful that my dad stopped drinking when I was a teenager. And that's a wonderful gift that he gave to himself and to us. But during those rocky times, it was tough. And I, as a kid, had no idea what normal was supposed to look like. I just didn't. And so I, at a very young age, started comparing myself to other people because they looked normal. And so I thought, okay, so I will, if I'm doing what they're doing, I should be okay. I'll be in the ballpark at least. And I got into a habit of comparing myself to other people. Hi, Margaret. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for jumping on. We're talking about comparison. And I'm telling you this story about how it was for me as a child, because sometimes that's where our comparison starts. Sometimes our parents compare us to our siblings, right? How many of you have had that happen? You know, you're getting in trouble all the time and your brother gets straight A's, right? Susan, I'm glad you're here. So we sometimes when we're kids get stuck in this comparison mode, and it becomes a template for our thinking. And I know it became a template for mine, comparing myself to other people. And usually, let's be honest, lots of times when we're comparing ourselves with other people, we're coming up short. We're coming up short. And that's what I did as a kid. I can remember being a young teenager and going over to a friend's house, and I thought she was rich. I 100% thought she was rich because she lived in a house that was up on a hill and they had a garage. That was all it took for my young brain. Hey, Tim, I'm glad you're here. And Rich, I'm glad you jumped on. Or Jan, whoever it may be. All it took for my young brain to think that that person was rich was for her house to be on a hill and have a garage. Now, how many of you know that there are plenty of people who are not rich, whose houses are built on hills and they have a garage? Lots of them. But I felt less than. And I wouldn't invite her over to my house because we weren't rich by a long shot. And we didn't have a garage. And we didn't have, I don't know, what rich people have. It was not rational, but it was real. I was really, really impacted by that comparison game. And when it really starts to affect us is when we continue to have that mental picture that we are always gauging ourselves based on how we compare to someone else. So first I'm going to start with this little piece. Comparison kills. And it kills three things that we're going to talk about. So if you're taking notes, this is the time to get your pen. And while you're getting your pen, getting your paper, maybe getting your computer, I don't know how you take your notes. I want to say hi, Brian White. It is so good to see you. Dawn Messina, I'm glad you jumped on. Somebody, let me see who you are. Ah, yes, I said hi to Tim. So yeah, we're good. Oh, and Bobby's on. So thank you all for being here. So if you've got your pen and paper, I want you to write these three things down. Comparison kills collaboration, it kills connection, and it kills confidence. Comparison kills collaboration, it kills connection, and it kills confidence. This is what I noticed about comparison. Social media makes it very easy for us to compare each other to each other, right? So there's a beautiful little tiny snapshot on Instagram, you know, it's about that big and it's been run through about 3 filters, and so everybody looks amazing and all the colors in the room look soft and wonderful, and you can't see all the chaos and the piled up laundry and the dirty dishes because they've taken just this little snapshot, and that's what we get to see. And then we compare ourselves to that, right? So social media is a real opportunity, if you will, to compare ourselves to others, but we're not comparing ourselves apples to apples. 100% we're not. You know, and I know that I have taken pictures and got real close so that you couldn't see all the trash dumpster in the background of the parking lot that I was standing in, right? We've done it. So that comparison thing kind of comes to us naturally, and then it gets exacerbated by something like social media where we can compare ourselves all the time. But this is what I've noticed about comparison. We don't usually compare ourselves to people who are way, way up on the scale. So, for example, Tony Robbins, oh, Ela, mwah, your daughter looked beautiful at her wedding. I saw some of the most beautiful pictures of Ela's daughter getting married recently. It was fantastic. So thank you for sharing those with us. I enjoyed them thoroughly. All right, so this is what I've noticed about comparison. When we're comparing ourselves, we're not comparing ourselves to the people who are at the top of their game. For example, I'm a coach. I'm a leadership coach. And Tony Robbins is a famous leadership coach. He's famous, and he's got like 1 million followers on Facebook. I don't compare myself to Tony Robbins. He's cool. Like, he's awesome. I might aspire to be like Tony Robbins, but I don't often compare myself to Tony Robbins in a negative way. And there's some people who are just barely getting started in their new career or their chosen career, whatever it is. And so they're struggling a little bit. And I don't compare myself to them either. That's I understand. Those people, they're just getting started. The people I compare myself to, and think if this is how you operate, the people I compare myself to are my peers. The people that I think are most like me, that are either doing better than I am or being worse than I am. Picture that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. The grass is always greener in their yard. And so this competition starts because they're peers. They're on the same street. They look at that person and say, I want to be better than that person. That's the kind of comparison that kills. It kills collaboration. Have you ever been on a team and you're just doing your thing, using your gifts, contributing, trying to make things happen, doing the best you can to get this project done, and you get stuck in a place that you cannot get out of with this team because there's bickering and there's envy and who gets the credit? That's all rooted in comparison. I want to do what she's doing. Well, you know what? You're not good at that. I'm the team leader and I know your strengths and you said you don't even like to do that. Now all of a sudden she's got it, you want it. The comparison thing kicks in. It kills collaboration. So when we're looking at our lives and have a habit of comparing ourselves to the other people who are on our team, it's going to kill any kind of collaboration and momentum that we could get because our focus is in the wrong place. And how many times have I said this? Where our focus goes, our energy flows. When we are comparing ourselves to the other people we are co-laboring together with, when we compare ourselves to them, when we compare our gifts, our strengths, our skills, and our abilities to them, and we start beating ourselves up about it, it kills collaboration. We feel like we can't contribute anything. Or the opposite is true. When we compare ourselves to others, we also find that we're better than them, right? And so we're not necessarily feeling like we're less than and beating ourselves up and being frozen. We start feeling like, I'm so much better than them, and we get bossy. It kills collaboration. When we compare ourselves to other people, their gifts, their strengths, their abilities, when we try to run their race, be them, we aren't being us, and then we're not bringing that unique thing that will make a team better. So comparison kills collaboration. The second thing it does is it kills connection, because if I am always looking at you and thinking, you're so much better than me, I don't feel confident in the relationship that I'm building. And I'm always competing. I'm always trying to either wear the cuter clothes or do my hair a different way or have a bigger client or have a nicer fill in the blank, because comparison kills the connections that we have with people that are healthy and good. In an ideal world, every time you succeed, Barbara, every time you succeed in an ideal world, I am thrilled for you. I am thrilled for you because we have a connection, a legitimate connection, a relationship that says, I want what's best for you. And I don't live in a world where I compare my success to yours. I don't live in a world where you have to fail so that I can succeed. We talked about abundance a few weeks back. Comparison absolutely is rooted in a scarcity mindset. It is so limiting when everything we do is based on what is that person over there doing. Somebody else is the boss of me, right? And it kills our connection, our legitimate, meaningful connections with people. 100% kills it. Comparison kills connection. And the last thing it kills is confidence. Because I've been on Instagram and I've seen all the awesome things all the other middle-aged women are doing out there that are my age, that I went to school with, that I used to work with, all of those people who are so much like me, and yet I see the snapshot that says, ooh, they're so much better, they're thinner, they're smarter, they're more motivated, right? Jay, welcome. I'm glad you jumped on. Robert, I'm glad you're here. That comparison game kills our confidence. When we are focusing on other people and trying to measure ourselves according to them, when they're better than we are, our confidence goes down the toilet. Oh my gosh, Kevin Cook, thank you for jumping on. Kevin is tuning in from Peru. So that's pretty awesome. Kevin is the pastor of the River of God where I attend church. He's my pastor. I'm glad you're here. Yay. All right. So we're talking about connection. We're talking about comparison. It kills collaboration. It kills the connection that we have with our fellows, and it kills our confidence. Comparison kills. All right. Now, write down these 3 things. Comparison also feeds 3 things. And these are the 3 things it feeds. Comparison feeds envy, it feeds embarrassment, and it feeds egotism. When we have a template that we live our life comparing what we're doing to other people, it breeds envy in us. I mentioned just a minute ago how we very seldom compare ourselves to the people who are at the top of their game. Right? We're not comparing ourselves to, oh, Carol's on. Thanks. Hi, Carol. We don't compare ourselves to Oprah Winfrey, right? We don't say, you know what? I am really stinking it up here compared to Oprah Winfrey. I don't know I just can't keep up. We rarely do that. We compare ourselves to the person who is almost like us, and we start to get envious of them. We envy what they had. Has this ever happened to you where you see somebody who seems to be thriving? They're dealing with life great. They're just going gangbusters. And you look at them and you think, you know what? She makes me sick. He makes me sick. I can't believe that. You know what? She's just lucky, right? We get envious and we start making excuses. Oh, she's just lucky. And that envy grows. And it's fed by comparison. We're going to talk about how to avoid this, just so you know. Hang with me to the end. I'm not going to leave you stuck here and envy people. So comparison feeds envy. Comparison feeds embarrassment. Like I felt way back when I was a young teenager and my friend who was rich had a garage at her house and I did not. And I was so embarrassed. I didn't want anybody to see my house. I didn't have one. I didn't have what she had. I was embarrassed, comparing myself. I was looking back. There was so much that I had going for me. I was friendly. I was fun. I was all kinds of stuff. And I didn't allow myself to live into any of that good stuff, develop the relationships I wanted because I was embarrassed, because comparison feeds embarrassment. What is embarrassment keeping you from doing? Ooh, hi, Brandy. I love you, and I'm glad you're here. Brian, I love this. This is such a nutshell phrase. Social media is a mask. It is. It is not real. Folks, this is not real. And I was tempted to show you. I think I will. All right, Brian, you're calling me out here. This, what you see is not real. Hold on. That was loud. Hold on. I'm still here, people. I'm still here. All right. So this is not real. What you see here, don't I look awesome? And I've got this cute backdrop and I've got it all framed. It's wonderful. Social media. And this is called being professional, people. I don't want my space to be, Jason, thank you for laughing. Yeah, so now we know that I'm not living the comparison game because I just dropped my phone. But I want you to see the rest of my space. All right, hold on. How do I flip this? I can find it, I'm sure. Here it is. All right, folks. This is real. Yep. That is a podcast studio that I haven't used in a little bit, as you can tell. But good news, I am going to be using it soon. So you'll be seeing some more about that. Yep. Oh, Brian, I'm not taking that personal at all. You are 100% right. It is in general a mask. And we do, as a group, use it as a mask. But I just want you to know, you can see, look, it looked like I was in this amazing space, and I am, but I also sew here. See? So this is awesome. And now I'm back, right? I'm back. Here I am with my curtains and my drapes, and everything looks nice and professional. And the next time you see me, it will look like this. But don't believe that everything you see is all that's there. And like Brian said, that social media is a mask. And just know that it is. Don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. Don't compare yourself to that because it will breed discontent, like Teddy Roosevelt says. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm going to see if I can get this back on the holder without cutting you all off. Let's see. Might be a little crooked, but you'll get it. Good enough, I think. Here you go. All right, so here I am back in my... Hi, Paul. I'm glad you're here. Yes. I am very real, Carol. I am very real. And I'm trying to be more real. I wasn't always real. I was a big fake for a while. I just wanted everybody to think that everything I did worked out and that I was not filled with flaws and that I didn't have the same challenges they had. And that never works. That never works. And what I did was I provoked comparison from other people. I provoked comparison from other people. And then I'll just take a little detour here. When we try to pretend that that mask is real, that we're all that in a bag of chips, as my sister used to say years ago, and I would laugh. When we try to pretend that our life is better than it is, it inspires other people to be envious of us. That's not good. Be real with people so that they can understand that you're together. You can collaborate, right? There's collaboration when we stop that comparison game. And when we want other people to compare themselves to us and feel less than, not cool. Comparison feeds envy. It feeds embarrassment. And the last thing it feeds is egotism. Well, it's not the last thing, but it's the last thing we're going to talk about. Comparison feeds egotism. Because usually when we're comparing ourselves, what we're looking for is somebody who's doing worse. I'm going to confess something to you. I am not proud of it and I don't do it anymore. But many years ago, when they started a website called classmates.com, how many of you have been there or done something like this? And you may do it on Facebook or Instagram now. There was a website called classmates.com. And I was curious, so I would go and I would look up the people that I had gone to school with. And what I found myself doing, and fortunately found myself doing it and stopped, what I found myself doing was looking for people and seeing, are they doing better than I am or worse than I am? Comparing myself. This was 20 years after I graduated, and I'm looking to see, am I doing better than they are or am I doing worse than they are? And when I was doing better, when it looked like I was more successful or my family was happier or healthier or I had a nicer house or I was, living the dream, if it looked like that in that little tiny snapshot in the description on a website, I felt so good. I felt so good about myself, like, yeah, I'm really kicking it. And then when I saw somebody who was doing worse, you know what happens. You're like, when you see somebody who's doing better, we're thinking, oh my gosh. Oh, I got it. We're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person is that successful. Well, they didn't get good grades. They weren't in the debate team. And we start that comparison thing. If you're stuck there, I want to invite you, come away from that. Step out of that comparison deal, because that comparison deal is killing your collaboration. It's killing your connection. It's killing your confidence. And it's feeding envy and embarrassment and egotism. I'm better than you. So this is the thing. How do we know if we're doing all right? If we're not going to compare ourselves to other people who are in similar positions as we are, if we're not going to use that as our rule of thumb, what are we going to use to make sure that we're getting better? And I'll bet you can guess. We need to compare ourselves to the best person we can be, to the person we know we want to become, not the person that so-and-so decided to be. That's not my game. That's not my life. But I can legitimately compare myself to the person I know I want to be. I can compare today's Shannon to yesterday's Shannon. In fact, it's healthy when I do that from time to time, because it gives me a good sense of if I'm heading in the right direction or if I need to kind of kick it up a notch. We can compare ourselves to ourselves. And when we do that, it is healthy. It is productive. It feeds connection. It feeds confidence. It helps us to grow and to collaborate, right? Oh, Nikki, I'm glad you love that. Yeah, we need to compare ourselves to ourselves. That's it. We were given a set of gifts that nobody else has. We have had challenges that nobody else has faced. And we need to understand that and know that the little tiny snapshot I get of other people is not a good enough bar to set for my purpose, my significance, my growth, my personhood. It doesn't belong to anybody but me. So this is what I'm going to invite you to do. Take a look at where you are and compare it to where you were yesterday. And if you're not a better person, a bigger person, a more content person, a happier person, a motivated, the things that really bring us joy, significance, and then that follows up with success. If you're not more significant doing the things you love more today than you were last week or last year, then I'm inviting you to say, what do I want to do to change that? Not to keep up with the Joneses, not to run somebody else's race. What do I want to do for me? And I want you to look at your future and what you hope and dream to have. The change you want to make in the world. Are you getting closer to that? If you're not, compare yesterday's to today. What do I need to do differently? Compare it to tomorrow. Do I need to shift direction? Am I heading the right path? Is the natural end point of this road I'm on the place I want to end up? And if it's not, you get to choose today to make a difference. Not because somebody else did, not because you're comparing yourself to them and they're doing it one way or you want to, no. It's because you know who you want to be and where you want to go. So I encourage you, take a look at that. Compare yourself to yourself and be generous to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace. The fact that you're tuning in and listening to this is amazing. And it says you are growing. You are trying to change. You are trying to get better and learn and stretch and be more significant and fulfill the person that you were designed to be. So I love helping you do that. I love meeting with you on Sunday nights and being able to talk like this with you and sometimes drop my phone, but just be real. I love it. And thank you for sharing the journey with me. It's an honor to do it. So that's tonight's lesson. That's it. Comparison is the thief of joy. Teddy Roosevelt said so. And if you don't believe me, you can go look it up and you'll find out some other interesting things about Teddy Roosevelt because he was a pistol. He was amazing. If you've got some comments, I would love to know, where do you compare yourself with others and it's not serving you well? You don't have to give me all the hairy details, but just putting it out there. You know what? I compare my looks to some people. I compare my looks to other. I compare the way I parent to other people. I compare my career, how much money I make. I compare my house, my car. It's a trap, but we can often fall in it. If you've spotted the trap, drop it in there. Drop it in there. I would love to see it, because that is you saying, you know what? I've seen this. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it now, and because I'm aware of it, I can watch out for it next time. That's what that means. When we become aware of something and we share that, it allows us to build on that. It's like a stair step that says, ooh, I'm at a higher level of awareness now. I realize that that's not healthy. That doesn't serve me. And we can keep moving up. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Carol, thank you for letting me encourage you. Thank you. It is my honor to do it. I'm thrilled. I loved the new faces that I saw today. Woohoo! Awesome. So glad you're here. And anything I can do to help you, I am here to help. So drop those comments in. I'd love to hear what your journey is like. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to give some kudos to some of the folks who tuned into one of my impromptu Facebook Lives this past week. And we were talking about taking action on Friday and not frittering the day away. And some of you took really massive action. Sylvia, well done. Massive action. Karen, well done. Massive action. Julie, you're 3/4 of the way there. I want to hear what happened when you took your massive action. It's wonderful stuff. Carol took massive action, got on track. It was just really encouraging for me to see that you guys engaged and just took a little bit of a prompt and moved your life forward just a little bit. It's pretty amazing. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being here. As always, you can go to YouTube and Google Shannon LaBruyere, and you can subscribe to the Sunday Night Live Sunday Night Live YouTube channel. And if I get 100 subscribers, I'll be able to name it something cool. And I would be so honored if you would do that for me. If you enjoy what I've shared with you tonight, that's one way for you to allow others to enjoy it as well, is to get that subscription in so that I can name it something that when people look for it, it'll actually do them some good. All right, you guys are awesome. Have a wonderful week. Mwah! Goodbye.